For the last part of the skeletal unit, we are going to actually look at the cellular or the cellular level, or bones as a tissue. So bones are basically have the prefix ossi on it. So osteoarthritis is the arthritis in between your bones. Osteoporosis is when your bones are getting thin. And if you remember back, bone tissue is connective tissue, and we're looking at collagen is the matrix, and then it has got a level of calcium and phosphorus crystals laid down to make it hard. The collagen makes it flexible, and the crystals make it hard. So when we look at bone itself, there are two different types of bone. There's the hard one on the outside called compact bone, and then there's a spongy looking one in the middle called spongy bone. So when we're looking at a long bone, so this would be your femur, you've got your compact on the outside for strength, and your trabecular or spongy bone up at the end. Notice that there's a very good blood supply. We'll talk something about later called the epiphyseal plate. This is your growth plate. When you look at your skull, you also have compact bone on the outside and spongy bone on the inside. And here is a picture of a pork chop that I just took at the meat counter. Here you can see the white line, that is your compact bone, and the spongier part is your spongy bone. Here also you can see the vertebrae, because a pork chop is on a vertebrae. I don't know if you knew that. And here is your spinal cord, or your spinal cord there. So this is a pork chop. Good. Okay, so when we are looking at those bones, there's the bones there, and then there's a few other things we need to look at, and that is that compact bone has a, both of them have a very good blood supply. And the other tissues found in your bone are bone marrow, and bone marrow is the soft tissue found inside the cavity, and there are two types: yellow bone marrow, which is more in the adult and it's fatty, and then red bone marrow. And red bone marrow is where the blood cells are born. And we'll go into a little more detail in that when we look at the blood process. And the periosteum is another word I want you to know. That's the tough fibrous membrane on the outside, and it protects it, and it's also the source of new bone. So if we go back to our diagram here, the periosteum on the outside has a very good blood supply. Good. And that is that's the end of the bone tissue that you need to know for this course.